Hi, welcome back to Storehouses of Heaven Bible Study with me, Mary Crema. We are in Genesis 6. We are going to start in verse 5 and go to 8. The Lord observed the extent of human wickedness on the earth, and he saw that everything they thought or imagined was consistently and totally evil. So the Lord was sorry he had ever made them and put them on the earth. It broke his heart. And the Lord said, I will wipe this human race I have created from the face of the earth. Yes, and I will destroy every living thing, all the people and large animals, the small animals that scurry along the ground, and even the birds of the sky. I am sorry I ever made them. But Noah found favor with the Lord. Okay, so that is a lot to take in. Can you imagine the entire earth full of evil? Right now we are seeing so much evil. People are just being killed right and left. Children are being tortured and done great harm. Harm that is just absolutely beyond words and defies any person who has even the smallest shred of kindness and decency cannot be okay with what is happening to so many children and babies. And when a child and baby, young, some from the moment they are born, they are abused and tortured and harmed in ways that are unspeakable. I know what those ways are. I know what those methods are, and I know what what it does to the psyche of a human being. I have been studying this for a while. Germany used to take the babies from the moms very early on during World War II and just kind of leave them in a room, and they would feed them, they would do whatever, but they wouldn't touch them, they wouldn't hold them, they would have to cry it out. And those kids, they were also studying the effect it had on the children. And the effect was devastating. They become emotionally disconnected, mentally disconnected. They became, a lot of them, sociopaths. And that study was also observed through the Spartans. They did the same thing. That's part of why they were so brutal in war, is because, and why the children were warriors, is because they would take the babies, put them in a dark room. It would be a woman who would come and do this, take the baby away from the parents and leave the baby in a quiet, dark room, make it cry and cry and cry until it stopped. And if it didn't, they would kill it. And they trained their children to be brutal. If there was somebody who didn't quite make it to their warrior elite training, if there was somebody who was injured or actually was a nice person, they would have every right, it was part of their laws, to beat the snot out of that person and basically kill the person if they felt like it. So very violent, very abusive. And when you are abused as a child, you have like this disconnective thing that happens in your brain. Your brain just disconnects from compassion and kindness because you have not been shown it. If you're not touched and held and told that you are loved as a child, this is why making your baby self-soothe is actually foolishness. A baby cries for a reason, and God put that in a baby for a reason, because the baby doesn't have words, and this is their way of communicating. And also, God put it in the parents, especially the mothers, to hold them, to love them, to nurture them. Because the mom and the baby, when they're born, they do not see themselves as separate people from their mothers. They actually see themselves and their mothers as one. And so if they're separated from their mothers, it messes them up. If they are not loved, if they are abused. I knew somebody who, her baby wasn't even a year old, and she just threw it on the floor and broke its skull. And yeah, that was horrible. And this woman didn't care. For hours, for a whole day, she did not take her baby to the hospital. And then finally she took the baby and she was like, yeah, I did that. She admitted, she confessed it. And that poor baby has had a lot of challenges to overcome because of that. Fortunately, she had a father who fought for her, who loved her, who did his best for her. But because they are in one of these woke states that hates fathers, the cards were stacked against him. So keep in mind, people were doing stuff like that all the time. It was common to just, and so many women nowadays don't consider, look at the whole Tylenol trend. Oh, there's a study out through Harvard. There's one through Johns Hopkins. There's one through, what are all these really big woke universities that are medical universities that have done these studies, and these studies are coming out through them. But it was announced through the current administration that so many people hate, and because it was them articulating this, then they didn't stop and look at the actual data that was totally trustworthy, and they just started ingesting all this Tylenol, and they don't see the babies in their wombs as human beings. And they didn't stop and think, oh, hey, this is going to damage me and my liver and give me a long, painful death. So some of these women have ended up in the hospital with a death sentence upon themselves, with their babies in the NICU, not sure if those babies are ever going to live. And I mean, you think you're flipping the middle finger to somebody, but you're actually doing yourself and your child harm. This is the wickedness. Everyone did what was right in their own eyes instead of what is right in the eyes of God. God was perfect, is perfect, will always be perfect. And what he ordained from the start is not to do us harm, it's to stop us from having harm. But we make the choice to do evil or to do good. And a lot of people choose to do evil. All of these people, the children of the Nephilim as well, they were evil. Everything they thought, everything they imagined, everything they did was so corrupt, so evil. There was nothing pure or right in it. And the animals were affected by it. The animals were abused. The animals were changed into very demonic type creatures because of how they were being treated by those that were placed to be their caretakers. I mean, can you imagine? The ASPCA was created to protect animals, but there was no ASPCA at that time. People did whatever they wanted to them, and they treated their children like that. And so, of course, God had to wipe everything out because it was so corrupt. Except for Noah, who was righteous in the eyes of God. And he was the only one that God said is righteous. But God saved Noah, his wife, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Noah's sons, and their wives. That is amazing. One man's righteousness saved the rest of his family, saved his wife, saved in total, it was 8 people who were saved because of one man's righteousness. And we're going to see more of that. So yes, this is why God did not save the entire world. He didn't save babies because they were so corrupted by the people who had them. There was no righteousness to be had. That's why the animals had to be destroyed, because there was no righteousness even in the animals. It was so vile. Our world was vile at this time. There was nothing good except in Noah. And I pray that we take lessons from this, that we have humble hearts, pure hearts for God. We cannot have a truly pure heart without God, because not one single person has ever not sinned. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. There is no one righteous, no, not one, except for Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God. And I pray that He is your Lord and Savior today. And until next time, be blessed.